Let's talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold. I will stress, though, Liverpool didn't play well last night. First half, virtually everybody was pretty awful. I think he got his team selection wrong as well, Klopp. But Trent stands out as one that really didn't play well and contributed to goals conceded. It's only half-time in the tie. We must remember that.
Yeah, Liverpool at home definitely got a chance still. I'd like to praise Real Madrid. I mentioned yesterday, but they're a fantastic side who've got a great record in the Champions League, and when the big games tend to come around, they normally turn up. Yeah, they haven't done the last two seasons, but under Zidane in the Champions League, they've got a good record, right? And this was a massive game last night, and everybody talked about Liverpool possibly coming away with a 2-0 victory or a 2-1 victory. Wasn't to be, was it? I mean, they were excellent. And, yeah, Trent made a mistake for the second one. I cannot blame him whatsoever for the first one. He's getting back into position. Kroos getting the ball so deep and playing that ball. Anybody else, if that were De Bruyne that played that pass, right, we'd be still talking about it tomorrow. I mean, because that's De Bruyne gets, because he's playing in the Premier League. But that ball he played split the defenders right in the middle. The perfect pass. So I can't blame him for that one whatsoever. There
was no defending that pass, you're right.
No, there was an error when he headed it, obviously. Straight to, what was it, Asensio, for that goal. But I think it was the whole team performance, really, from Liverpool. I think they had no leadership on the pitch, no discipline. You've just mentioned there the selection, which was strange. I think it surprised a lot of people.
It surprised you when you heard it.
Yes, and it just summed up their season, really. They've been all over the shop.
Fair play to you. On the show last night, when you heard the team news, you raised an eyebrow at the very least at the team selection, and so it proved. I mean, Keita got dragged after 40 minutes. So
I didn't get that whatsoever.
Good foresight. I've got to say, with Trent Alexander-Arnold, there's so much to admire about him, and his second half performance was great. Now, I think what's happened is he's been protected in that team, and Klopp's done this deliberately. He's instructed, I think, Jordan Henderson, when he's in the team, to really protect Trent Alexander-Arnold. And when you've got centre-halves who look after you, like Gomez is also a right-back, so when he's in the team, he knows how to play that position and cover for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Virgil van Dijk's just superhuman. So if they're missing, then Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to get exposed. And when you transfer that to the England stage, can Gareth Southgate, with the way England's set up and the opposition they're likely to face in the latter stages of a tournament, can he trust Trent Alexander-Arnold if that right-back position gets exposed and isolated by the opposition?
Well, it's a story, this, and people are talking about Trent Alexander-Arnold, and we're talking about it because he played wonderful against Arsenal, right? And everybody's saying, how can he be left out? And this was a massive game for him against Real Madrid. It was an opportunity to show everyone who doubted him, but he was still the best person to have in that position come the Euros. Well, he's actually played himself out of it again. So he's done actually Gareth Southgate a huge favour, because it is a position that they're blessed in, England, whether it be Reece James, whether it be Trippier, whether it be Walker, whether it be Wan-Bissaka, whether it be Trent Alexander-Arnold. There's so many. And he's got whoever he leaves out, it's a difficult choice, right? But last night's performance, unfortunately for Trent, has backed Gareth Southgate massively.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. But we cannot ignore how good he is going forward. So what does he have to do to be England's best right back?
Well, England have to be better defensively, don't they?
So it's not his fault then?
It's the team. It's finding a way for England to play to get a result. And if he's worried, but if he plays a 4 and Trent's in it, it's a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, I threw it out there earlier. Did last night prove Gareth Southgate right about Trent Alexander-Arnold? Martin has tweeted saying, I've argued what a crazy decision it was to drop Trent. But let's just say he made me look a bit of a fool last night. My inboxes on socials were full of, I told you so last night. But I still think he should be in the squad, he says.
Exactly. I think I picked him in my squad last night. And you see that performance and the criticism. You've got to expect it. He's playing at Liverpool. Right, he's playing in a very high-profile match in the Champions League, and it's just after he's been left out of the England squad, and everybody was watching, and it was a poor performance from Liverpool in general.
Whole team.
But obviously he made a mistake that led to a goal, and when that happens, it gets talked about. John Stones made a mistake. Isn't it amazing how quickly that's gone? made a mistake playing for England. And that's the original reason he got left out in the first place, for making too many mistakes. It's the same mistake he's made before, and nobody's really talking about that. Because he's in now, and then he had the assist for the goal that Maguire scored for the victory.
There's also a lack of depth at centre-back, which is probably why they're not talking about it. And you've just listed the right-backs. Yeah. So Trent has a problem. I think it's a great tweet just been sent here by Lee, who says, to be fair, he's a young lad. Why not support him? He's a top player.
Agree.
I would transfer... Yeah, I agree. And I would transfer that to the pitch as well. We've got to remember, it was a bad team performance from Liverpool. The front three last night were virtually anonymous in that first half. You wonder what on earth was going on. So why aren't they being questioned as well? Plus, also, if you're under the cosh and you're away to Real Madrid, it's Champions League, quarter-final, you need to be at your best. If you're under the cosh, if you're up against it, then you need players like Mo Salah, who's on that side, to drop back and help his mate out. And I don't think we saw that enough. You need somebody in midfield who can understand that situation, like Henderson would have done, just to get across a bit more, be more mobile, get there quickly to help his teammate out if his teammate's struggling. Didn't see that from Liverpool. Now, when they're brilliant, Liverpool, they are absolutely unplayable. They are sensational. But it's almost like it's built on sand, isn't it? Because when it starts to crack and go wrong, then it completely falls apart.
And it has done for them this season, hasn't it? There's been too many players not in form. Mane not scoring goals, Firmino not scoring goals. His performances have just... I know we talk about him a lot, but they've just not been up to scratch for a Liverpool player to play in that position. I think even the fans' opinion on Firmino this last 3 months has probably changed. Defensively, they've been all over the shop. The two full-backs have not been as good as they normally are, and there's a reason for that, because it's not the same defence, and they've not had that solid midfield in between. Thiago's come into the side. He's a different type of player to the midfielders they've had before, and on top of that they've got two different centre-backs, and he's mixing that around to try and find the best formation. So it's been a shocking season for them. I expect them to come back strong at some point, but it's more likely to be next season. But you can't write them off purely because it is Liverpool, and if they do have one of those magic 25-30 minute spells, which we've seen so many times from them under Klopp, and Real Madrid have fell to pieces in the past. They lost the last 2 seasons in the Champions League. It can be done. It can be done.
Well, let's ask the question, was Southgate right about Trent Alexander-Arnold? Did last night prove Southgate right? And in terms of helping Trent, what does he need to do to be England's best right-back? Or is he even a right-back going forward?